This is unrelated to politics, but whatever. Tim Peters, who is one of the most important contributors to Python, someone whose name shows up in multiple core modules to Python, such as the Tim sort. If you've ever done any kind of data analysis, you've definitely been exposed to Python, or if you've done any kind of machine learning, even as like someone who's just into like math and not like computing, you've probably worked with Python and you probably know what a fucking Tim sort is. Well, the Tim who made the Tim sort is being suspended from the Python Foundation. And what did this secret chud do to earn the ire of the Code of Conduct Enforcement Committee in Python? Well, chat, this man publicly stated that this clip was funny. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Josh. Saying that SNL is funny is probably grounds for dismissal. I agree, but this is from 30 years ago. Let's see what it is.
Station manager Dan Aykroyd. During the past few weeks in Los Angeles, actor Lee Marvin and his former live-in companion Michelle Triola Marvin have been in court to settle her claim that he owes her half his income from the 6 years they lived together. That is the subject of tonight's point-counterpoint. Jane will take the pro-Michelle Marvin point, while I take the anti-Michelle Triola counterpoint. Jane?
Dan, times change, and so does the nature of relationships. People are reluctant to get married these days, and looking at divorce statistics, who can blame them? But the lack of a piece of paper does not necessarily mean the lack of a total commitment. A woman in this modern-day relationship may well give up all her own personal pursuits, as Michelle Marvin claims she did, to give her full support to her man's career. And Michelle Marvin is just asking that the courts recognize that reality. Dan, there's an old saying. Behind every successful man, there's a woman, a loving, giving, caring woman. But you wouldn't know about that, Dan, because there's no old saying about what's behind a miserable failure.
Jane, you ignorant slut. Bagged out, dried up slunk meat like you and Michelle Triola know the rules. If you want a contract, sign on the dotted line. Oh, but let's all shed a tear for poor Michelle Triola. There was only testimony that she had sexual intercourse over 40 times with another man while living with actor Lee Marvin. But I suppose that sort of fashionable promiscuity means nothing to someone like you, Jane, who hops from bed to bed with the frequency of a cheap ham radio. But hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and Michelle Triola, like a screeching, squealing, rapacious swamp sow, is after actor Lee Marvin's last $3 million. I guess what you and Michelle are saying is that when you're on your backs, the meter is running. Well, please spare us, gals, and tell us the rates at the top. Then we can choose which two-bit tarts and bargain basement sluts to shack up with.
That's the news. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
I mean, he goes pretty hard. I can see this as, dude, now that I've mentioned this, I can just, Ralph will just watch this and like masturbate. He's like, God, I wish I could own my ex-wives like Dan Aykroyd owned this fucking ignorant slut. Oh, it was a different time, chat. I think it was like 45 years ago. How long ago was 1979? Can I do math in my head? Let's see, that's 21 plus 24. 45 years ago. That's a long ass fucking time. I don't know. I mean, when I listened to it, I laughed out loud because it was like so abrupt. Because she was like kind of tactful, and then it gets to his turn, and he's just like, go fuck yourself. Obviously the joke is that he's a miserable person, and he lashes out. It's very pithy. Well, that's kind of the joke. So it's kind of weird to take that and then be like, well, that necessarily means that he hates women, right? Because he thought that this was funny. But the Code of Conduct team needs to exist, so they have to justify their right to exist by lashing out. Because if there was a Code of Conduct team that reviewed everybody's conduct and said, well, everything's looking good, we're really happy with how things are progressing, what the fuck's the point? Seems like your community self-moderates, so do we really need a full-time staff position of multiple people to review Code of Conduct? Probably not. And that's assuming that they're even paid. But we all know, and I need to describe this in a way. I need like a term for this. Crunk Lord, who will be mentioned again in a second, calls it technocracy. But I feel like we need like a very specific name for this, like tranny bureaucracy or tranocracy or whatever. There exist certain things that people maintain for free that requires a little level of dedication and skill and intelligence that is often in short supply, such as maintaining a programming language, editing Wikipedia, things that require necessarily, because of their purpose, a type of person that's in short, hard to come by. And then, for various reasons, they start to implement a bureaucratic layer to managing this service, managing Wikipedia, managing a programming language or a open source software project. And then this bureaucracy layer becomes so complicated and so stupid that only the most useless people with the most amount of free time can possibly hope to understand what the fuck it does or what things mean. And then this bureaucracy layer subverts and ruins the actual thing that it was supposed to protect and support. And it's a very common occurrence now, where it's like, smart, productive people who have a good work-life balance, they do other shit besides sit around trying to find things to busy themselves with. But trannies, they don't really do that. They're obsessive, mentally ill freaks, and they just want to get their hobby is fucking with other people. So they take up the mantle and they use the abundance of free time that they have to subvert this thing at a bureaucratic layer and then boot out the useful people who don't have the time to deal with that kind of bullshit, and they ruin it. And it does happen outside of tech, but I guess it's like a busybody factor too, because it happens in real life. It happens with real organizations, and it's so frustrating because so many good things are ruined by the busybody trannies. I wish there was a stinky gross redditors tranocracy. I don't know. It's hard to say. I would be interested. Leave a comment or make a post on the Math the Internet thread. How you would summarize this? What field you would apply it to? Give me some examples, because I want to see if I can hone in on this and create like here's how you identify dead weight fucking retards in your organization. Here's how you keep something that you created pure and not allow it to be subverted by. We're gonna watch that.
Thank you for watching this clip by Colonel J. This is the King of Bold here. Remember to like and subscribe. Juice!